outside. Yeah.
Chief Keef and Little Durk. So apparently Chief Keef and Little Durk is beefing. Something came out where they are saying OTF tried to run down on Chief Keef and took his chain at the Rolling Loud. There is a recording going around of a security guard who was there telling the story. He was talking to someone and he did a voice note telling them what happened. He said that O Block and them lot tried to run down on them. He said they were waiting outside somewhere, Chief Keef to come out pretending like if they were Chief Keef friends, but in reality they were waiting there to try and take his chain and rob them. And he goes on to explain. He said he even had a conversation with Chief Keef and them lot at the end. And the crazy thing about this is he's saying that he lost his job. He even got fired because of this situation.
As you see, I got a picture with Tato. I was trying to get a picture with Sosa, but that's when that happened. Him and another OTF member was waiting for Sosa to come out and talk about, oh, they Sosa friends and shit like that. And all along, they were trying to do like take your chain, I guess, because, you know, they check you for guns and shit, so you can't even have a gun in there. So I know they wasn't from the shit because they can't even bring a gun in there. So basically, yeah, they was talking about the stats and chain and shit, and the officer heard him. I ain't snitched to the officer. The officer heard him, and they had a bunch of police officers came and like, why y'all that move for y'all ass get arrested and shit like that. And I told Tato I ended up getting fired, but I ain't get, it was worth it. I had a whole conversation with Tato, well, not with Tato, but well, Tato too, but Keef. I went to his car, that nigga had a conversation, gave me words of wisdom, and we banked as that. Yeah.
In the comments, some people actually don't believe it. Some people think it's cap. Some people are saying it could be true, but we don't really know if Little Durk and Chief Keef and them lot is actually cool. MuWop responded to this and he said that he doesn't know what people is talking about. Stop tagging him and stuff. Stop DMing him about the stuff. He never tried to take Sosa's chain. He never tried to take Chief Keef's chain. It is all cap. But people don't believe this because MuWop went live where he was giving out his law to ops and he was talking about police as dudes and stuff, and people felt like he was dissing Chief Keef.
This is MuWop from MuWop from
Could have been done for clout. Little Reese was there. Little Reese would have known what's actually happening. Why isn't Little Reese speaking out? And that's the thing, because if Little Reese was actually speaking up now, then we'll know, you know, him and OTF and Little Durk and all of them is cool. Because I thought they were all gonna be there with Little Durk and them now, and I thought for some reason Little Reese was gonna be there with Little Durk, but he actually was on stage with Chief Keef. It's funny how we even heard OTF try to take their chain backstage, but we didn't hear Little Durk try to take Sosa's chain. Why did we hear Little Durk? Why did they say OTF and then MuWop is coming out and saying, oh, you know, he don't know nothing about that and stop tagging him in these people? Bust Up even tweeted something about police as rappers. It sounds like they don't want to get arrested, and that's why MuWop is coming out and saying that he do not know what you guys talking about. Stop trying to get him involved in situations, and that's what's probably happening, because when you go back and you listen to the security guard actually telling the story, that voice don't sound like it was in the moment the situation happened. He talked to Chief Keef, he said he had a conversation with them and stuff. He got fired and everything, and he was telling what actually happened on the voice note, and the way he sounded, it kind of makes sense. MuWop right now, just like MuWop is baiting to, there must also be other people that saw the situation. And Little Reese is like, isn't it funny that when MuWop go live, we never see Little Reese in the comment, you know, trying to big him up and stuff and WAP and none of it. We never see that in the comments around when Little Reese go live and stuff. And after he got shot up and went and got shot and grazed to this face and grazed this. After he went live and everyone joined the live, where was MuWop and them, you know, trying to big him up and say, you know, he's gonna be okay. Mimo right now, he's down. No one's saying nothing about Mimo. I feel the situation generally happened with Chief Keef and them lot, where they're saying that OTF ran down on Chief Keef and tried to take a shit. Omega Drips did a video on this a while ago. He was telling some stuff and then he broke it down, where they were actually saying that there could be a situation brewing between Little Durk and Chief Keef, and people were saying that he was capping, but now the story come up. People was feeling like there was something going on between Little Durk and Chief Keef, even though they tried to do certain things to make it out, you know, like they're cool and all this stuff to the public. It could have been them two guys just made it up and said, oh, you know, they got fired and stuff. When he said that he got fired, I found that line to be a bit extreme. It's like, oh really, like wow, so what else happened? And then people want to know the story, so that way people would get invested into the story. It would also make sense for him to get fired happened where he was trying to get involved and doing what he was meant to be doing. It was Chief Keef and OTF and them, and you know, he sounded like he was actually, you know, like trying to talk to people and trying to, like, you know, like calm down what was actually going on. That's basically what MuWop is trying to say. It was fake and that didn't happen, but I don't think so. I don't think that they'll just randomly come up with this story. From what you were saying in the recording, even when he said that he had a whole conversation with Chief Keef, and you know, he didn't really go into what they talked about because that was the only recording that was released. But he said that he had a conversation with Chief Keef and he tried to calm it down and stuff, and OTF and them not, you know, tried to take Chief Keef's chain. So this is the news that's coming out now. MuWop is saying that it is fake and it is not true, and I think he's only saying that because, you know, the police and because of where because they were at the Rolling Loud, so other people would have come to places. MuWop did this live as well, so this live right here where MuWop was actually showing Ops' location, that live he also mentioned police as well. So it's like, who is he talking about right after the Rolling Loud, and he was still with OTF and them not. So who is MuWop talking to? So it just looks like a situation that actually happened. They probably, you know, they probably got into all the violent stuff. MuWop probably did something and they want to know what happened. And people have been saying this. Chief Keef and Little Durk's not on good terms. So Ruger posted up this picture. As you can see in the picture, it says the Mercedes Stadium. He is actually with Kanye West making this album, working on the Donda album that Kanye West is sleeping in the Mercedes Stadium. He showed you guys the better stuff that everyone says it's like a prison. He is living at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium to do this album. And I'm just like, what's the hype around Kanye West stuff? And I don't get the hype. I still don't get the hype around Kanye West on the album and all of it, because he was meant to drop this album and he did an album release party, but then the album is not out yet. He's working on the album. I'm literally confused when it comes to this album. And then Ruger is there with him, and so I don't know, Ruger covered it up there. I just feel like something is actually going on with this, you know, Kanye West and stuff, and then the hype around it and everything. Like, you know, literally, if you ask me, to be honest with you, Kanye West is a madman. Like, all the stuff, some things that he said, I just feel like, you know, I mean, at this part, like, his music is dope, but like, this was like back in the day. I don't know, but I just feel like the hype around the album is kind of like a bit weird. But then people always get hype for Kanye West and stuff like that in the industry because he is everything to do with the industry. It's like he is part of the elite as well. So this actually makes sense why people could be going crazy about Kanye West for no reason. It might be some sort of distraction, to be honest with you. Why is he posting this show studio doing this album when doing this? What's even more strange is when he had the album release party, it's meant to release party, everyone was looking out for the album and stuff, but then he done that. Like, what? I was like confused when I said about it. I was just like, yeah, it's definitely some sort of ritual that's going on. And people still, and I tell you guys, people still don't believe that that's actually Kanye West because of, you know, the mask and stuff that he's wearing, and he's wearing this whole mask. And like, if you really notice, right, we haven't seen Kanye West for the last like 5 to 6 months. How long now have we not seen Kanye West's real face? Make it make sense. Something is actually going on, and then now he's working on this album down there and he's showing us like a prison vest, and then Ruger is down